Looking at Intel here on the daily time frame, you can see that price has been moving to the downside. But notice over here on the left, we have a nice little gap motion going on here. And what I believe has happened is prices moved back to that gap. Obviously, it's been to the upside here. So let's do a little drawing. Price has been to the upside. It's pulled back here, and now I'm looking for it to continue on up into the the upwards direction, or in with the uptrend that has been going on here. And this is just a nice little pullback that we see going on here. You can see the most recent support level or demand zone here on the daily time, and the most recent supply zone that we've outlined here. So those are the two zones that we're going to be looking for. And if we drill down here onto our smaller 60-minute time frame, you'll see that inside of these two zones we have the smaller time frame zone here, represented by the smaller rectangle. When price comes back up here, and because it's been basing around here for quite some time, I'm thinking that price is going to start to move to the upside. And as it does so, it's going to hit supply, right? You know, we are in an uptrend. This is a pullback, so we're going to hit supply or resistance. Okay, it's going to cause price to come back down. Now, what I would like to have happen is maybe a little bit of a wave motion coming on here as price hits supply this coming week, and basically hits the edge of the supply zone, followed by the strong 60-minute zone inside of that nice confluence of the daily zone there. So I'm looking for something like that to happen, nice wave type motion, and then for price to ultimately push to the upside. Because in the grand scheme of things, I just see this as a nice little pullback in the overall direction of trend. So be on the lookout for price to possibly bounce down here one last time, hitting the support zone inside of that big daily demand zone that's just now formed, and then possibly bounce to the upside as such. So that's what we're looking at here on Intel. Moving over to NVIDIA here on the daily time frame, obviously you can see this market has been in an uptrend for quite a while, you know, and it looks like we're getting a nice little pullback here. Now, the real question is this a pullback, or is this the start of something new? In order to answer that question, we have to look at a few different factors here. First off, we see a heavy rejection of price here, followed by very, very big candles to the downside, all right? Now, the big question that I have for you is that a big enough correction to say that we are starting something new to the downside? And in my book, this is not, okay? As we are looking at Intel before, this is just a nice little pullback in the overall direction of the uptrend. So, but in order for that statement to really stick, we need to see price respect one of these two zones here, okay? If it breaks one of these two levels, or excuse me, if it breaks both of these levels, then all bets are off and we need to be looking to the downside. But until those levels really break, I'm not going to say that this thing is in a downtrend just yet, okay? I still think that this could just be a nice little pullback, and that's pretty much it. You know, so if we look down into the smaller time frames to get a little bit of bearing as to what levels we are looking to have hold, let's come down here a little bit. Okay, I'm looking for one of these 60-minute zones inside of this big daily demand zone to really hold. So as price comes down into this zone, it's really kind of already bounced off of these two zones. So I'd like it to bounce again off of this zone, or possibly come all the way down here to the edge of this daily demand zone and then bounce up. Now, if it breaks it this week, then, you know, that's okay, but that's what I would like to see happen in order to maintain the uptrend. However, if it breaks the 176.91 bottom of the zone, then we just need to assume that its price is going to fall down to the next daily demand zone here at 170. Okay, but this is what I like to see happen this week. And also, as this thing plays out here, as we're coming to the downside, it is very likely that we are going to see some chop. If it does decide to break this zone here, we're going to see some back and forth chop. So we might just be moving to the downside, completing this move down into demand. It may break it over if we look longer than a week, but it may reform this support zone into a supply zone and get a flip-flop of supply or of demand becoming supply. So it looks something like this. This zone would be looking like this then, okay? And have this nice little red color from that point on, and then price would move to the downside. So look for a nice little bounce and then a good solid pop to the upside. But if it pops and consolidates, expect this to happen.